You made it sound like I claimed to have like the godly power to come up with things, because suddenly we went from
You did.
I
You absolutely
certainly
did.
not.
Okay, hello banana heads and welcome to the Blue Banana Podcast. My name is Sophie. Yes, thank you for that. My name is Sophie and you can tell me apart because I'm in my black shirt. To my left, I have Manu, who is in a black shirt. And to my right is Liam. And would you believe it, he is also in a black shirt.
With a flare of pink.
I
Do you
wanna
guys just do this to me on purpose?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection.
Well, I am not black. I am actually red
Overruled.
wine colored. I am, what would you call it? Velvet crimson. A dark velvet tea red. Burgund.
looks-
Is that the...
Really?
Looks
Burgund?
pretty black to me.
Yeah, it looks, I was going to say maybe a very, very dark grey.
Well, it's not.
Now,
But
in
red is stretching it.
in my defense, you guys know that I wear a black shirt every single day. You cannot claim that I'm copying either one of you. This is
claim
my
you're
thing.
copying either
You guys
one
are
of
just
us.
trying to be me.
I claim that you're copying both of us.
I'm claiming that as well.
Black t-shirts. I believe I have a copyright on black shirts, so
Yes.
you should both
Oh.
expect legal action imminently.
I tremble in fear.
The audacity.
But how are you guys?
I'm pretty good otherwise. Other than having my identities stolen gradually by the two of you.
Identities?
Because you're wearing two
Multiple
black shirts
identities?
now.
Let's not talk about the identities.
All my identities, give them back.
Black shirt here, black shirt there.
Good thing I have always a couple of backup personalities for when...
Let me just check. We're all doing good. How about you?
Is that your mirror?
I'm talking to my identities. That was
It
the
was
joke.
it was his multiple identities.
The correct response to a joke is to go ha 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 instead of
Wow.
Cut
yeah,
to
yeah.
laughter directly.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yes.
Anyways, I am
Wow.
to rescue you from this awkward failure of a joke. I will continue to update with the happy news that my back is a lot better, so I can laugh again without suffering.
No one asked. No, I'm very
was-
glad.
That was my highlight of last week, trying to make
It was. I think it clearly
Yes.
was everyone's highlight of last week. Not only yours. Well, the entire last week was just the eternal try not to laugh challenge, literally.
Lots of pain. Lots and lots of pain. We
Yeah.
like that here.
one
and
long
fun for other
Batsu
people.
game.
I won't bother trying to make you laugh today, Manu, then. I don't need to
Yeah.
be entertaining at all.
I had a list of material prepared. Now I think I'll just delete the document.
Yeah, it's gonna be the driest episode.
Clearly, okay, I'm sorry to be the bearer of terrible news that I'm physically doing better than last week.
Such a pain.
Oh yeah,
Manu.
it's terrible. It's dreadful. I'm just very egoistic.
I want you injured again in 7 days by the time we record the next podcast.
Yes, for our next episode.
I will try hard.
In multiple body parts as well.
Or you're fired.
Physical damage.
We're going to replace you with the other Liam, the second Liam.
Oh, yeah,
identity,
one
who will always-
of the other
always
Liams.
Be in, exactly.
How do you know?
Always be in a black shirt.
How do you know I'm not second Liam?
Oh wow. Okay,
Good
sorry.
point.
We had our conspiracy episode already. Enough of that. We're going to go on and we're going to talk about dreams today.
The Minecraft YouTuber.
Dreams
Sure.
plural.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like Liam's.
Liam's
Dreams.
the Grand Line reviews. No, I mean like the sleep.
There's beds in Minecraft.
He's right.
Can you dream in Minecraft?
Probably, if you mod the game enough.
Not natively.
Then I don't care for it.
What's your favorite block in Minecraft, Sophie?
Blockchain.
The Minecraft blockchain.
Yes, Minecraft blockchain.
I like diamond myself. I'm a diamond man.
Liam is a gold digger. Give me that diamond ring.
No, gold is awful. You make stuff out of it and it just breaks.
Diamond digger.
Stupid gold.
The diamond digger.
Sophie, would you like to
That
get
joke
us
was
back
very
on track?
meta.
I didn't understand it.
Oh, 'cause Minecraft, so you dig.
Just
okay.
sounds like
Clearly.
you're speaking German.
Clearly, this
Minecraft.
joke was way too deep and too sophisticated for this
Yes,
podcast.
my apologies. Gonna bring it back. On topic. Thank you very much. Did you guys have a wild and riveting dream last night?
Not last night.
Not last night. Do you guys remember your dreams often?
Only the really bad ones, I feel.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
nightmares? Oh.
Yeah, so the other day, I had a really, dream nightmare experience that stood out to me, I think, last month or something, which was very different from usual dreams I have. Because it actually, when I woke up, it still affected me a lot more than dreams usually do. I'm not sure how many nightmares you guys have, but, I think it's pretty common, that, or at least for me, it's pretty common that, sometimes you're just being chased, or you die at the end of a dream, something like that. I think that a lot of people have that. But that dream was weird because I was in a class, in a fitness or martial arts class, and my coach came to me, and he took me by the side and was like, "Can I talk to you outside for a second?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he was like, "Well, your mother had an aneurysma and is she has 1 month left to live." And I was like, is this a dream? Because I don't think I know the word aneurysm. I think it was aneurysm, sorry.
Aneurysm, right.
Yes. I was going to ask.
I didn't
Exactly.
want to correct you because I didn't,
Thanks.
because it was a very serious situation.
Thank you,
I didn't
sorry.
want to
Yes,
intrude.
and I thought maybe it was a real
Yeah.
medical
I thought,
condition.
your
Anyways.
parents are doctors, you probably know better than me.
I mean, anyways, literally in that dream, I was like, this is not a dream, right? Because I don't know that word. I thought to myself. Well, clearly, some part of me did know that word, but so I woke up because it really started stressing me out, because I do have these episodes where I start becoming lucid within dreams, and I feel in that I was testing it, and I felt I wasn't dreaming, because it was so weird and different from normal. And so I woke up in the middle of the night and actually called my mom, because I was, are you okay? And she was like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" And I don't know, it was in a way a good thing, because I don't know, it kind of made me appreciate that my mom was there in a weird way. It was kind of losing, it was kind of the soft version of hearing that your family member had a tragic condition or a tragic accident, because it was a dream, but then it still affected me the entire day. So
But because you
my
don't
God.
know it's a dream, obviously you're still impacted by it, yeah.
But also afterwards, after I woke up and knew it was a dream, it was still the message kind of stuck. I feel my mind was
Yeah.
telling me spend more time.
The moral,
Talk
the
more to
moral
your
of the
family.
story.
Yeah, the moral of your dream.
Pretty much.
Turns out your mother just paid Leonardo DiCaprio to incept you so that
Maybe.
you would
Yeah.
call more
Make my
often.
son call me more often.
Exactly.
I call my
Such a
mom pretty
terrible son.
regularly. But yeah, so that was
She obviously doesn't
a
think so.
that was a very different dream from what I usually just put into the category of, went to bed, had some wild adventures. The first dream in a way that actually impacted me for a longer time. Did you ever have something like that?
I've had something quite similar recently, although not as tragic, I would say. I had a nightmare, I would say, about 2 weeks ago now that I remember semi-vividly, and that I think the two of you will both appreciate.
It's going to be YouTube related.
Or
Yes.
related?
So, I guess the thing with dreams is that you take pieces of information that you're just thinking about, and they kind of just get slammed together, or at least they do for me, and they create this weird sort of fusion. So, this is a 3-part smash together, right? YouTube, because I'm always thinking about it. One Piece, because that's primarily what I do on YouTube. And here's the twist. The war in Ukraine. These 3 elements got thrown together one night. And essentially what happened is, in my dream, a One Piece manga chapter came out, and it revealed where the One Piece is. And as it turned out, the One Piece was in Russia. And in my dream, I am stressing the fuck out, because I'm like, this is going to be controversial. People aren't going to like this. And how am I going to talk about this without, getting demonetized for accidental political commentary? What have you done to me, Oda? You've just sunk my career. And I'm properly dream stressing and trying to figure out ways that I'm going to deal with this situation. And then I woke up and I'm like, you fucking moron. Of course One Piece isn't in Russia. In the dream world, it just made sense that Russia could be part of the One Piece world.
Absolutely.
I didn't even question it. Yeah, it was just...
Yeah, you never question it within a dream.
But,
Which is
like,
arguably the most fun part about dreams, that there's these little facts. You question other things in your dreams, but there's certain things you like the setting. You just kind of accepted.
Yeah.
Something really interesting that you mentioned, Manu, was that you can lucid dream. Is that something that you do intentionally, or is that just something that happens for you?
So I will be careful. I will give the disclaimer that I'm not actually sure if it's genuinely lucid dreaming. But the older I got, I never really like tried to learn it. I know there's methods out there where you really consciously try to start lucid dreaming. I don't know, there's like techniques and stuff for it. I never tried any of these. It's just over time, there's certain things that I just noticed, I think, which is similar to these techniques where you notice, oh, this is something I can only do in a dream, or this is like a sign that I'm in a dream right now. And it is really weird because I'm not 100% in control of the dream, but I'm in control of what I'm doing. So for example, like one dream I often have, or like often have like these dreams where like there's like some sort of chase going on, like I'm being chased, or like I'm chasing I don't know, it's always like running and stuff like that. And so at some point when I realize that I'm dreaming, I can start like actually flying and like jumping really fast or stuff like that, which is fun, but I still don't.
Sorry, jumping really fast?
Yeah, like kind of like, I don't know how to explain it.
Kangaroo?
Jetpacks?
Oh.
No, like you jump fast and far, kind of through the landscape. It's kind of. Have you seen Looper?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of like that, I would argue. So like the scenery changes and stuff like that. So it's cool, but I think I'm not 100% aware that I'm in a dream. Like I still am convinced that what's around me kind of is just what's happening, but I have more control over what I actually do, if that makes sense. So not maybe like 40% lucid dreaming.
I mean, lucid dreaming is quite broad, right? Lucid dreaming is just when you are aware of the fact that you are within a dream and that this isn't reality. And so I think it can be quite broad, because I wouldn't say frequently, but I do lucid dream sometimes. Also similar to you, I don't do it intentionally. I don't really have the ability to change and control things. It's more of the fact that I realize that I am in a dream. One of the earliest times, the first times that I actually lucid dreamt, was probably the only time where I was able to control things. I was around 8 years old maybe, and I was having a nightmare that I was being chased by giant gummy bears. And these giant gummy bears were really after
dream.
me. No, it was not.
It's like
it's
a
the
evil
evil gummy
Freaking
bears.
terrifying. It was terrifying. They were like evil, fast gummy bears. No, they were not waddling. They were properly chasing
They were
the
like
shit out of me.
ripped. They had 6 packs and they
Yeah.
were like, oh.
Yeah, they were like demonic gummy bears, and that really scared me. And I went, wait, this is a dream. I don't like this dream. Change it. I want another dream. And then I
It
remember
was demonic.
I remember
nachos.
just flicking through
Glutinous
different dream.
nachos.
Yes, that would be something that chases me now.
You could have just eaten them.
No,
No, they're glutinous.
It was not. They were huge gummy
Oh, we're
bears.
talking
They were
about gummy bears, yeah.
huge. Yes, they were like twice my
I
size.
couldn't have eaten the dream gummy
Multiple.
bears. They had
No. Let's
like priorities.
Let's be realistic here.
It's very realistic here. I'm gluten intolerant. I
Yeah.
can't eat the monster
I'm
giant
gonna
gummy
screw
bears.
up my stomach to save myself.
But it worked though. You said, I don't want this anymore, and it just switched to something else?
Yeah, I remember just like flicking through to a different dream. And I
Interesting.
remember it almost went back to gummy bears. I was like, no, I want
No more gummy
bears.
No more gummy bears.
bears. Yeah.
Not even a little gummy bear?
No, I was like, no,
No
get
more
that shit
gummy
out
bears.
of here.
Do you like gummy
Get
bears?
that shit out of here. I do actually really enjoy gummy bears. It's not really my lolly of choice though, so it was a bit random.
What is your lolly of choice?
My lolly of choice? Maybe sour worms.
Okay. Respectable, but not what I would have thought.
I love sour.
I'm gonna guess yours. I'm gonna guess yours, Liam.
I'm
Red
pretty
frogs.
easy, yeah. Red frogs, I'm pretty sure I've told you this at some point though, which is why I think this is cheating. Red frogs are like a tradition in my family. We had red frogs at our wedding. We had a candy buffet, and the centerpiece was this like big thing of red frogs. They are that ingrained into my family.
I don't know what red frogs are. I have to research.
They're frogs, but red and tasty.
Made of sugar? Oh, it's an Australian candy, of course.
Also, it is very important and red, because you're editing this. You need to put up the right red frogs, because there are 2 different kinds, and one of them sucks.
The lore deepens.
Is it the one with the frog with the that does like this?
You're
the right
talking
one?
about the packet?
Yeah.
I think you're looking at the little red frogs, the inferior red frogs. Whereas what I'm talking about are the slightly bigger red frogs that are much less common.
Just slightly bigger.
No, it's
Just
okay.
slightly bigger.
So I know that
But it's very important.
Okay, this is like the size of little red frogs, yeah?
Yes.
This is the big red frog.
The good ones.
And
You don't say.
they're also tastier, the big red frogs. There used to only be big red frogs, but then they introduced these like piddly little ones into the supermarket and they kind of took domination. And now the only place
I've ever
I can
seen
get
these
the big
smaller
ones are inexplicably at Officeworks in these like gigantic 1 kilo packets.
Oh, that's terrible, Liam. You poor soul can only get your favorite candy in 1 kilo. The
1
nightmare of
kilo
every
packs.
kid. Oh no, a 1 kilogram pack of my favorite candy.
Everyone has their cross to bear. This is mine.
It's a heavy one.
It's 1
It's a 1
kilo.
kilo one. I'm curious about something because it's something I have never experienced before when it comes to dreaming, and it's not related to red frogs. I'm very sorry.
Okay, come out.
Has either of you ever experienced night terrors?
Define night terrors.
Is there a more specific term for like when people wake up and have like a monster sitting on their chest, like they're kind of like sleep? Is it sleep paralysis? Is that it?
Oh.
Yes, once. And it was the freakiest experience of my life. I don't remember what the
Please
actual
share.
nightmare was behind it. Oh, it's not actually that interesting. This whole episode probably won't be that interesting for me because I don't tend to remember.
I don't sleep.
All I do is YouTube. And when I do sleep, I dream about YouTube.
Yeah, that is kind of the sad reality of my existence. But I do remember this. I think it would have been maybe about 10 years ago. I woke up after a particularly terrifying dream, one might even say nightmare, except it felt like I didn't wake up, like I was conscious, but I wasn't moving. And I was just sort of like terrified out of my mind, like how do I control my body? And like eventually I regained control of it, obviously, because I can do things like this. But at the time,
things you do in the bed.
What do you do in the bed?
No, I do the same. No, that's why I said that's the things you do in bed. I do the exact same thing.
That's the standard bed maneuver.
It's also how you do sex, by the way.
Yeah,
Same moves.
You just
On the bed.
You keep doing that
On the
until
bed,
you
on
both
the bed.
climax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next to each other.
Disclaimer: you can have intercourse in other locations, but I think we're getting
Essentially, we were just having sex right now.
yeah, we were having cyber sex, all three of us.
We were having cyber sex separately
Wow.
on camera.
Yeah, this is gonna sink the podcast.
Or make it blow up. Who knows? Who knows what you freaks are into?
This episode's getting demonetized, and it's entirely my fault because I have both lured the two of you into having cyber sex and mentioned the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
My apologies. This is...
Well, I will say my mind has been blown that none of our episodes so far have been demonetized. I don't think we ever went like too overboard with anything, but I feel like we mentioned enough stuff on the side that I would have kind of expected there to pop something up.
I feel like we do get a bit like heavily sexual at times, and also surprisingly heavy into like urine and eating and toilet habits.
I mean, we can bring that into this episode as well.
We will,
So shared
surely.
wedding stories.
Have you ever had a wet dream?
No, actually, I haven't.
What?
My friend, though, insists that I have because I was traveling with her.
Oh, okay. I was like, where is this story going?
My very
And-
good friend.
Yeah, oh my God. How good is that
We were
friend?
traveling.
It's like, oh no, you just dreamt that last night. That didn't actually happen.
Ugh.
Well, I sleep talk. I often sleep talk. And she was insisting in the morning that I was saying some sordid, dirty stuff in my dreams
Sophie.
that I just, for the life of me, cannot remember.
It was probably just Sophie, standing in front of a giant buffet and is like, yeah, choke me.
Yeah. Oh.
Stuff it down my throat. It's like eating chicken McNuggets.
She said I giggled. She said it was a bit of a giggle. I'm like, no, stop that. But that could apply to so many different things.
It sounds like your standard like Japanese hentai. Like, yeah.
It does. Stop it.
Just because we're really going to test how far we can take this without getting demonetized.
I don't know.
Or have we just thought, all hell break loose.
Depends what you want to say.
What's your experience, Liam? I feel like as a guy, your like wet dreams definitely reduce in number the older, like once, like they climax once you hit puberty, and then I feel like they
fascinating choice of word. I'm interested, actually, weirdly enough, to hear you use the term wet dreams plural, because I've only ever had one in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Liam's like, oh, I shouldn't have said it. Should not have said that. I should not.
Generally in this household, we keep the pipes pretty clean, essentially, so there's never been a lot of build up, I suppose. But it was when I was 12, I believe, maybe like 11 or 12.
You don't
this
have
is something
to
I'm gonna. This is something I'm gonna regret saying on the internet. But
don't say it then.
It was in the height of the Pokemon craze, and so I believe the dream involved Misty from Pokemon. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm disappointed now. I was like, and that Ralt just looked so smoky.
This was long before routes, actually. This was the original 150, where I think the sexiest Pokemon that existed back then was like Jinx or something. Mm-hmm. Mr. Mime, if you're that way inclined.
Not gonna get so graphic. I don't know how graphic and how dirty your wet dream with Misty got.
Not very. Like, that was the thing. It was surprisingly
This is not a competition, guys.
Well, it's not. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to try win. But,
Sophie's like, well, when you say that's
there.
your wet dream, let me show you what a wet dream actually means. I'll show you what a real wet dream means. No, your baby stuff. Like, gonna go like all the way.
No, we're waiting for you, Manu. You're the one with plural one, so I think you're the master here.
Yeah, you've got an entire CV of wet dreams.
Please finish your thought first.
I was just going to say that maybe the closest thing that I do remember to having a wet dream was I remember when I was probably similar age, Liam, around 11 or 12. I remember dreaming about making out with Bart Simpson.
Okay. I don't feel so bad about Misty anymore.
Really like the spikes.
Damn, yeah, ribbed for your pleasure, yeah.
I never had like a dream like about a fictional character like that, I think.
You've never had a Simpson wet dream?
I did not. I'm sad to say, very disappointed now. I feel like I missed out on a whole genre there that no one told me about.
Not even when you were younger? I feel like fictional character dreams are fairly common. I hope so.
Not really.
I guess I should say. In this call it is. 66.6% of people in this call have had a sexual dream about a fictional character.
Maybe I'm the... Yeah, baby. Well, I'm clearly the all one out here then. No, I don't know. I think like I had maybe crushes on fictional character, but never dreams, I would say.
So it was very innocent, pure love.
I guess
I wouldn't go that far, knowing Manu.
What is that supposed to mean? What do you mean?
Nothing. I don't think I would ever use the words innocent or pure to describe you.
What? Look at this. How much pure and innocent does it get?
A lot. It gets a lot more pure and innocent.
Okay.
Than
Well,
that.
I tried at least.
Yeah, you didn't try very hard.
Okay, I didn't. I feel like there was little ground there to make my case. I was like, can I argue against that? No. Well, I don't think. So as a kid, I had like a very vivid imagination, just in general. So I don't know. I'd go like reading a lot of books, watching movies and stuff like that. So I think I'd lift my things out more, like drawing and playing Lego as a kid, and then when I got older, I don't know. I feel like maybe more daydreams about fictional characters rather than actual dreams.
Day wet dreams.
Wow, yeah. I think we call that a different thing here, Manu.
I think we just call that jerking off.
Is that a daydream?
Kind of. It depends what you're thinking about, but yeah.
It was one of those days again, guys. I don't know. I was just daydreaming for like 15 times today.
My wrist hurts from all that.
Yeah, from all the daydreaming. I guess I was resting my hands so ferociously. I think probably, I can speak for girls, but probably I would assume as well. But as a guy, I definitely know that every guy definitely does wet daydreaming, at least as a teenager. And I would argue probably for the rest of his life, maybe not as extensively as in school, but...
You did it in school?
What? Oh, Yes. Yeah, you know.
This is becoming a very revealing episode. I didn't expect to find out about Manu's jerking off habits.
Neither did I.
We're gonna wash our brains with soap, bring this back a bit more wholesome, or at least just, more
What?
back to
Whoa,
dreaming,
what do
actual
you
dreaming.
mean wash our brain with soap? If you were the one who even were like, no, this is unacceptable. We need to make this is not a good wet dream. We need to bring it to the next level.
I don't know what Manu's talking about. I deny all of these allegations.
Roll the tape back. Like a minute.
Do you guys ever actually think about what dreams are or what they mean? Or do you tend to believe that dreams could mean something?
Did any of you guys read the book? Oh, what's his name? There's like this really famous book on sleep. I'll have to look it up. It's called Why We Sleep.
Because I feel sleepy.
Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. So what the research apparently seems to suggest is that, I mean, as you kind of would expect, I guess, that dreams help you process with your experiences. And apparently, one thing that's been shown is, for example, if you, especially emotional stress, or like if you have an event that causes you to feel a certain extreme way, sleep actually and dreaming helps you with processing what happened and, getting you down from that emotional spike. So let's say you're extremely excited that you won the lottery, and then you spend the night sleeping about it. You're still happy in the morning, but, it's chilled down a little bit. You've had time to process it literally. Similar to if something terrible happens to you, like in the worst case you lose a loved one.
You lost your lottery ticket, or
yeah, something like that. Something terrible has happened that emotionally is really burdening to you, and you also through sleep and through dreaming you process that emotion as well. And so, because it would terrible, obviously, if you would wake up the next morning after your boyfriend or your girlfriend broke up with you, and you still felt the same way the next morning. So that's why people always say sleep over it, because it literally helps you deal with those emotions and kind of makes you emotionally a bit more stable in that sense every time you sleep.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And I think I've heard that especially about, nightmares as well, especially if they're recurring.
You seem so disappointed with that answer. I feel like Sophie was more going for something like, do you think dreams mean that I
Do you think your dreams are prophecies?
Yeah, kind of like
No.
that.
You guys might laugh about this, but then I have actually an experience.
Okay.
You guys, I have an experience, so...
Was that the Bard one?
That was a much more personal secret experience.
No prophecy involved.
Yeah. Last year, for a period of time, maybe within the span of 3 to 4 weeks, I had dreams about specific individuals in my life that I hadn't talked to in over 2-3 years. And within a week of me having that dream about that person would hit me up on some sort of social media platform. And I hadn't talked to them in years. So I had a dream about a friend who I hadn't seen since high school. He hit me up after a couple of years saying, just asking, how are you going? Just how are you doing? I had another dream.
How are you going?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I saw your face. You were like, oh no, are they gonna let that slip? How are you going, Sophie?
It wasn't a how you doing. It was a genuine how are you going? Just wanted to check in.
I'd find that even more suspicious.
It happened 2 or 3 more times with different people.
That
To
is
the
weird.
point that one time, I didn't even have to dream about this person. So let me explain. I have a friend. I have a best
Isn't
friend.
that the
my
point
best
of
friend.
what you're talking about? That you had the dream and that it happened?
Let me emphatically explain.
Please do.
My best friend, I go to some of her family functions at times. I go to, kids' birthdays and whatever. And I've met her cousin maybe twice in my life. I don't have him on any social media. Didn't have his number or anything. One day I was driving, I looked at someone who I thought looked like my friend's cousin, and I thought, oh, that guy looks like my friend's cousin. Later that night, he found me on Facebook, friended me, and sent me a message. I don't think he even sent me a message. I think he just sent me a meme. It was really random.
How are you going?
Yeah.
I feel like we just found out that Sophie has by far the most underwhelming superpower out of all the adventures.
I can tell
can
a
you
week
do?
in advance when people are going to make small talk with me.
People are gonna hit me up on social media.
I know when to start deactivating my accounts.
It's like, yo, if you ever don't want to get hit up by someone on social media, let me know.
Yeah,
warn you.
exactly. I'll warn you. But people say that when you dream about someone, sometimes it means that they're also thinking about you or that they're also dreaming about you.
Who says this?
Lots of people say this.
Do any of us say that?
I mean, obviously they were thinking about me because they messaged me afterwards.
But at the same time, in the same dream.
Within the week.
Were
within
you
a
dream
week.
sharing?
Dream walking.
I mean, I know that that's a thing.
Sometimes
I don't
when I
know.
sleep at night, I become something else. I become...
It's my middle name.
wants to be Liam.
Please edit that out.
Or bleep it. That's even funnier. Oh no, that doesn't make
Yeah.
sense then.
No, it didn't. Not at all.
I become Beep is my middle name. I wonder what we'll never know. What could
Anyway,
it be?
yeah.
Actually,
Sorry about that.
Actually, way funnier. Leave all of this in and just bleep the name we just said. Just bleep
Yep,
the
that
name
could work.
every time it comes up.
Stop
Basically.
saying it. You're making this
Wait,
up.
it's just gonna be bleep, so no one will ever know.
Glad we figured that out.
Okay, I'm gonna be very honest. I'm slightly underwhelmed by your story. So I think I think it's a cool experience to have, but it lacks like the emotional storytelling behind it. Like if you had said I was dreaming about gummy bears, and then I got a free kilogram of gummy bears.
Experience lacks the emotional resonance this narrative requires.
It lacked the
You're
story
a bad
arc.
storyteller.
Pull your
No,
life
no.
better. Have a better life.
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant for the fact that you asked us if we believe that dreams can become reality.
I don't necessarily mean that they become reality and
sorry.
that
I
I
wanna
necessarily
apologize, Sophie.
prophesize things.
I want to apologize.
Apology rejected.
Oh my
You know, I'm
God.
gonna cry about this. I'm gonna have to sleep about it so I can process what you said so I can feel better in the morning tomorrow.
Emotional damage.
You know what? This actually brings up another interesting story.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because Manu's very difficult to please, apparently.
Hopefully Manu will be interested in this one because this actually concerns him.
Oh,
Tell me about it.
okay. Shall I leave the room? Or?
Yeah, this was a wet dream about no. I had a dream 2 weeks ago. I fell asleep listening to the Blue Banana podcast. I had it playing on and I went to sleep. And so
Wow,
naturally,
is
That
that
sounds like a bad idea.
if that's what you use our podcast for, I don't even want to know what.
you know
other
what?
people use
If anyone does that with our podcast, I have no problem with that because it's good. You know, just have our channel on a playlist and listen to it all night.
We should make
and
this
all
an
day.
intro thing.
Daydream about us.
We should make this an intro thing. Like, let us know what you use this podcast for in the comments, what you're doing when you're listening to it. I think that would be really funny as an intro. The podcast people listen to fall asleep to.
No, everyone's just gonna say I listened to it whilst taking a shit.
I was
Those are the
like,
comments I get.
while
anyway.
daydreaming.
Furiously daydreaming.
Viciously daydreaming.
Viciously.
But back to my wild dream about Manu. Liam, you were there, but you were a minor, like almost negligible character.
You
were there.
We were like doing YouTube in the office or something.
I'll just leave.
You might as well not have been there. I
You
was
were
there
a
with
villager
my sister.
too.
We were traveling through Europe. And Manu, you owned a book cafe. And so you were serving me coffee as I was reading books, but you were really mad at me.
Oh, I was like, this was
In my
such a
dream.
wholesome dream up to this point.
It wasn't.
Wholesome, describing my entire life as being a minor character.
Negligible, don't forget.
Negligible.
But
Sorry.
no.
Gotta
This
use
is-
the
No, I
right
did not say minor. I said negligible. It's even worse than that. I'd like
But
having
this
a
is
book
about
cafe.
Manu. This is about Manu. I don't care about your book cafe. I want to know why you were mad at me.
How was the interior design of the book cafe?
It was very rustic.
Don't change the
very,
subject.
very vintage, old-fashioned. Look, it was very lovely. It was a nice atmosphere. Would have been a great environment had you not been mad at me.
Wait. We'll get to that point. How was the coffee?
He's stalling.
He doesn't really want to tell me the real reason why he's mad at me. Maybe because I don't tell my stories with the oomph and the emotional...
You don't have the Tolkien-esque detail. You're not spending
Yeah.
enough time on the atmosphere and the books.
You're not crafting languages.
What did the floor smell like, Sophie? What did the floor smell like?
In the mahogany room filled with lots of
now you have me.
Tolkien-esque fantasy-filled books.
Okay.
And I saw a red carpet rug with gold specks. I don't know. I'm sort of making this up.
How was the coffee?
Carpet rug.
I confess that I did not actually partake in drinking your coffee.
Maybe that's why I
Maybe
was
that's
mad.
why.
You were mad at me
Good
because
call.
I didn't
Good
drink
call,
your
Liam.
coffee.
Probably.
Great minds.
Coffee's holy.
I would be upset if you didn't drink my coffee, even though it's pretty abysmal.
I would probably never ask for either of your coffees in the first place.
Wow. I feel like I just got rejected.
Yep, I'm rejecting you hard today, Liam.
Yeah.
You're negligible in this episode for me in my life right now.
We're gonna take our friendship level back from friendly colleague
Yes.
to just colleague. I
Just
think,
colleagues,
after this,
yeah. Neglectable
Really
colleague.
I'm really cementing my relationship statuses here.
The story arc is not progressing, it's regressing.
But you never have a linear story.
It's kind of like Gon in Hunter x Hunter. It's a negative character arc. It's like getting slightly better before completely going down the drain.
As it sounds like, I feel like I'm the Leorio of this podcast, who was there in the beginning and just kind of disappears and becomes negligible.
Sorry, please continue, Sophie. Was I just mad at you, or did you know the reason why I was mad at you?
By the end of my dream, I had figured out that you were mad at me for not putting away the books after I had read them.
Sophie.
That was the only reasonable conclusion that I
You
could
did
think
not
of for
put
you
the
to be mad
books
at me.
back after reading
So
them?
in reality though, then that means you broke our friendship, Manu, because I would have just thought a good friend wouldn't mind where I left my books. I mean, it was just a pile, on the bar.
Unacceptable.
You gotta put your shit back. In Manu's coffee book bar. You know the rules. You knew the dream rules.
You did. You went to my coffee place and read my awesome selection of fantasy books, did not drink my coffee, and then you just left the books where they were lying around.
This could not be more insulting if you tried.
No, but I would be pretty pissed if my friend was pissed at me for not putting his books back. I feel you. That was probably a bit of a
This
dick
brings
in that.
up something interesting though, because when you woke up, did you have any residual feelings towards Manu after your dream altercation?
So I read
Except,
about
of course, strong sexual desire after being
this.
rejected.
Yes, of course. Yes. Strong sexual desires about books and coffee.
Oof, books. Ugh.
Definitely, I definitely look at
at
red. I definitely look at red rugs differently now.
Just make fun of my coffee again.
Your coffee's also negligible. Get that shit out of here. But I did read up about this because I've been thinking about this a lot ever since my experience from last year. I've been thinking about, what does it mean if you dream about some people? What does it mean when you dream about some people and something happens to you afterwards? Now, for you, Manu, if I have to have another dream about you being mad at me, then I will get more and more curious because they say that, if it happens once, like an odd time, it's probably not worth noting. But if it's a recurring dream, it could mean something.
Maybe it means that I have some deep, unresolved, and yet unidentified negative feelings toward you, Sophie.
Yeah.
Or it could
probably about my
mean
story
Or the other
what
way
I
around.
personally think. My favorite is that in the near future, I will be the proud owner of a rustic book cafe.
It does sound quite idealistic. It sounds quite pleasant, yeah.
It does sound quite nice. I will not say have a nice rustic house, make my own coffee, have good mangas and fantasy books and other nice books, have a
Just
nice
make sure to have
area.
a huge sign that says, "Put books back."
No, you know what? Just for your sake, I'll be fine.
Sophie,
I'll put the books back myself.
it's a test of character. You don't need the sign, because the reason why you don't have the sign is so that you can judge the good people from the terrible people
Who to serve the good
who
coffee?
don't put the books back or drink the coffee. Why were you here? You're not doing anything. You're just making a mess, essentially.
It was a
You
very
were not
neat
reading the
mess.
book. You were not drinking the coffee. You were just taking books out on the shelf and leaving them for me.
I was being a good friend and trying to boost up the cafe, making sure that it seems like there are a lot of people there reading his books as if there's interest in this cafe, keeping Manu company.
It's just Sophie walking into the bookstore is like, oh, what's this? What you got here? What's this? One Piece of shit. This one. This is shit. Well, this coffee that looks shit as well. What are you mad at me now for?
That is exactly how the dream went down. Don't even try to deny it.
Well, if it makes you
have another
feel
dream
any
about
better,
this.
I have no negative feelings towards you, Sophie. Only loving friendship.
Well, speaking of negative feelings, I find this topic particularly interesting because I'm sure we've all had this dream before. Maybe not all.
He
of us.
said before immediately being followed by
immediate
nobody
backtrack.
having that dream before.
So it involves a God of War and a poker flute, right? You know, when you're in a relationship with like a long-term partner, or I guess living with someone like a family member, as people tend to do in their early years of life, but you have a dream about that person, and in that dream, they do something that infuriates you or annoys you. I don't even remember what the thing is, but then you wake up and say, I turn next to my wife, and I just think to myself, how fucking dare you? How dare you do that to me in my dream? Like, stuff like that. You wake up with these, like, residual feelings towards the transgressor of the dream.
I actually don't have these, genuinely, but I know from other people that that's a really common thing. So you're definitely not the
Yeah,
only one.
I can't say that I've ever experienced that either.
Yeah, but I know
Really?
people. Yeah, but I know
Yeah.
it's a common thing. Isn't that the classic? You cheated on me, but it was my dream. But still, can't believe you did that.
It seems like Manu's speaking from experience.
I don't think it's ever been something
Luckily,
like that
no.
serious. It's usually more something like, you know, you let the dog go out, like, without a lead. What are you thinking? Are you mad, partner? Something like that.
Has it ever happened when in terms of a habit that's really annoyed you, and then so after your dream ends in real life, it's a recurring source of annoyance for you?
Not as a result of the dream. That obviously goes
Okay.
into a very different topic of, like,
Right.
annoying partner habits, but you know, the dreams
let's
are
start the
usually
therapy
really
lesson session.
absurd stuff.
Liam's wife exposed episode. So, anyways, this might not be the right place for this, but I hate it when she doesn't do the dishes.
Mate, do not get started on dishes.
Triggered.
Triggered. The kitchen is our biggest source of conflict. Biggest.
The kitchen is a battlefield.
You have no idea.
I will say this, and I feel like this might be maybe I'm not sure if you can relate to this or not. Clearly, what you like for you, Liam, it maybe isn't as relatable, but I don't dream about people who are really close to me in my real life as much as I dream about, as Sophie kind of mentioned, like people that I don't have.
Strangers?
Not strangers, but like acquaintances I dream about more often, I would say.
So he dreams about us, and we're his acquaintances right now.
Are we in a dream right now? Is that what you're saying?
You dream about side characters in your life.
In general, like my dreams aren't like, for example, the one I shared about my mom, like that's very rare. Like that stood out to me as being like something very personal and like affecting someone I'm emotionally close to. Well, I feel like my dreams are generally more, at least the ones I remember. Maybe I have these other dreams as well, but generally my dreams are much more action-packed. If that makes sense, action-based. I barely like. I
What is
barely,
it? Just like you starring in Uncharted, the Manu
Yeah.
dream.
I feel like I don't talk very often in my dreams. If that makes sense, it's more like action-based. I don't know what that says
Interesting.
about me as a person. Probably nothing good.
Real life movie star.
Your dreams sound thrilling.
Yeah, it sounds like proper adventures. You were.
Oh yeah.
I'm
yeah.
imagining you like flying around the sky. And,
Well, he jumps really fast.
I
Yeah,
get
and
shot
far.
sometimes as well though, and stabbed and shit.
Do you
and
feel it?
They don't constitute nightmares.
No.
That's just the standard dream. That's just the standard dream. Like, yeah, I got shot.
Depends on the degree. I feel like they range from like normal. I think it depends on how much control I have over the situation.
Whether you're like Neo post-awakening or pre-awakening, essentially.
I mean, some of them are cool and some of them are more like frightening. But that's usually the moment. Like when it's dreams like these. I don't know. Do you have dreams where you die or like get killed?
No, when you mentioned that earlier, I was very intrigued because I've never dreamed about dying.
No, I'm like a cockroach in my dreams. I am impossible to kill with anything.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm just invulnerable.
Yeah.
Even if someone
but-
gets close, it's like a Luffy thing where just some wacky Looney Tunes thing happens and like, the sword, it's missed me, or the bullets, they just magically
Okay.
didn't hit.
Oh, but you do have the dreams where someone is trying to get after you.
I've had
Occasionally.
dreams of people chasing me. That's a recurring
Gummy
nightmare
bears.
for me of getting chased. No, gummy bears was just a one-time special experience. My recurring nightmare would probably be getting chased by kidnappers. But I always wake up before it gets really serious and it seems like shit's gonna go down.
For me, it's like shit goes down, but then as soon as like I fuck up, like I try my best to like, you know, survive, obviously. But once I actually like fuck up, I do like, I look down. It's like kind of this moment where you look down, is like, I don't feel anything. I'm still alive. What's this? And it's like, oh, it's a dream. And then I wake up. It's this aha moment.
I find it genuinely fascinating that you die in your dreams, because that's an experience that you like can't possibly know what is.
But maybe that's why I
was
wake up
gonna
at that
say.
point.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. I feel like that's the inverse with me, that I wake up just before I die because I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, I guess
I would say
Like my brain doesn't know what to
the
shoot out at me.
that the closest I've ever come is, you know, I don't know if you do know, apparently my dreams are not as common as I thought they are, but those dreams that kind of end very suddenly because you're falling, and that like moment of impact is when you wake up. That
yeah,
sort
I
of
don't have
thing.
those
I've had a
as
couple
much.
of those.
Oh, I actually just remembered a dream that I had twice, but it's been a couple of years ago that was very scary and interesting. And I do think it was both times related, kind of, to me watching a movie. Not on those nights, but in the vicinity of that day. And so it was both times a dream about aliens actually landing on Earth, but it was in a really weird, realistic way, where it was kind of like you were like chilling on the couch at night, and you were kind of looking up at the stars, and then you could see like these like lights flying through the clouds, where it was kind of like not clear if it's a plane or not. But then the clouds started to like slowly, because everyone was like, people were outside and kind of looking because there was a lot of it. And so at first you're kind of like, oh, it's like, again, going back to Liam's Russia dreams, it was kind of like, oh, is this like a war thing kind of going on? But then like the clouds would like part, and you could see in the sky that they were like literally like small vehicle, like things moving around, and like giant structures appearing on the horizon. I remember it was such a eerie feeling because it felt real, and it also like, it was like very quiet in a way, like very apocalyptic in a way. So that was a really scary dream that I think I like remembered afterwards because of the vibe it had.
But you had it twice?
Yeah, I had it twice. Yeah.
On different nights.
On different nights, yeah. Also, it was really interesting because I remember that. Have you ever had that feeling? Because the dreams were kind of connected. Does that make sense? So basically, it felt like a continuation.
serialized
yes.
dream.
Yeah. No. Exactly like that. Did you ever have that?
Yeah.
That
I've
like
had that
you
before.
dream and you're like, oh, I know what happened previously on this episode, on this series.
Last time?
Yeah. Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
I've had weird dreams where I'm not sure what to think. Like, I've had dreams where I suppose in the dream I've been like, this has happened before at some point, but I don't know if it actually has, sort of thing. So I don't think I have as much control over my dreams as the two of you seem to have.
Interesting.
I've definitely had experiences where I will enjoy a dream a lot. So then I will go, okay, I want to go back into that dream. And I've sort of
Can you do
merged
that?
my way into that
I
dream.
can't do that.
It's happened. It doesn't
Sounds
happen
amazing.
at will. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I've had experiences where I force myself back into a dream, and then that dream turns a really wild twist and becomes a nightmare. I'm like, no, I don't want it anymore.
Back out.
So it's a really like, be careful what you wish for sort of situation.
I got that. I'll be curious, Liam, because I know, like, I just came out of a period where I've basically overworked myself a bit with YouTube stuff and so on and so forth. And I know that's your constant state of being. Me personally, I feel like when I'm very, like, exhausted, mentally exhausted, and then maybe also a bit sleep deprived, I definitely dream way less. I'm curious, is that like your experience at the moment?
Well, that might be why I don't have much to share with you, because I don't remember many of my dreams because I go to bed pretty thoroughly exhausted, and then it's just like snap, wake up, head pillow, next day sort of thing.
Make it sound so sad.
It's great because I love what I do, so I get to skip
Thank you. We needed that. We needed that.
You skipped the saving stream. Thanks for that emotional relief there.
See, Sophie, that's how you do narrative.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I feel like we helped you out there. So, really interesting that you say that though, because Manu, you said that you don't dream. When I've heard differing accounts of this, Manu's just having a bit of an attack, a seizure, I think.
So it is so interesting. That was the most
very interesting you say this.
That was so unsincere.
No, I am intrigued by this because I've heard differing accounts of this. Some people say that you actually dream every night, but you just don't remember it. It's just that you actually just don't remember things, and it just happens to be at what period of your sleep that dream occurs, and then you'll be more likely to remember that dream. So, for example, if you are REM sleeping, which is rapid eye movement sleeping, which I think is the deepest part of your sleep.
No, it's
if
the
you
lightest
start
part
dreaming.
of your sleep.
No, can't be.
Really?
The opposite is deep. There's literally deep sleep. I have a little, because I actually wear this little ring that tracks my sleep, and it gives you a graph, and
It's
goes
a
from
ring.
yeah, it goes from deep sleep to normal to regular sleep to REM sleep.
Sophie,
I've never seen
that's
that
the most
before.
impressed you've ever sounded about anything. It's a ring?
Better put a ring on it.
No, I've just never seen that before. It's usually a watch.
I was also under the impression that REM sleep was like the deep phase that you really
I thought
need to
so
get
too.
into. But
Are you fact checking?
I mean, I googled REM sleep, but I'm not gonna
What
just
is the deepest?
regurgitate whatever Google tells me.
Why would REM sleep be deeper than deep sleep? Why would they call it deep sleep then?
I've never heard of deep sleep before. I thought that was I didn't realize that was a scientific phrase. I thought it's just like, I was in deep sleep.
Apparently, there are 4 stages of sleep. Stage 1, your eyes are closed, but it's easy to wake you up. This phase may last 5 to 10 minutes. Stage 2, you are in light sleep. Your heart rate slows, your temperature drops, getting ready for deep sleep. Stage 3, deep sleep.
Ah.
It's harder to rouse you during this stage. If someone woke you up, you would feel disoriented. During the deep stages of NREM sleep, the body repairs and regrows tissues. I think that deep sleep is like a component of REM sleep, or apparently non-REM sleep. Like you can access deep sleep in both of those.
The site that I've got says that deep sleep is often confused with REM sleep, but there are differences between the two. This third stage of sleep is non-rapid eye movement sleep.
Yeah, you can
So
still
it seems to
dream
be
in
the
deep
sleep.
sleep.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the deepest part of your sleep. I think that is still REM.
Then why didn't WebMD tell me that stage 2 was REM sleep?
Is depth defined by how easy it is to wake you up?
This is getting very philosophical now.
Is it? I feel like that's just scientific.
All I have is on my page, it just says REM sleep is the deepest stage of sleep. That's all. I don't know what makes it deep. Maybe because your body is largely inactive during this sleep?
So REM sleep is deeper than deep sleep.
Yes. Who would have figured?
We were right, you were wrong.
You were wrong.
Except we didn't
Simon.
know why we were right, we just instinctively knew. The best kind of victory.
It's good intuition.
Sorry, I just went with the naming scheme here. That someone clearly did a really poor job of.
I mean, for all you know, there could have been a different cycle, like a stage 4 of super deep sleep.
Or death. Which is
Or
pretty
maybe
deep.
deep sleep was the
Death.
deepest stage of sleep before
really
they
hard.
introduced REM sleep.
Fun fact, really hard to wake up from death. I don't know. It's like, I think in the because I get a graph every morning of how long I spent in each phase of sleep. And it goes from deep dark blue to regular blue to light blue, which is REM, to awake, which
So
is
you
white.
blue
So I
sleep.
don't know.
Interesting.
I have read that you can experience REM sleep multiple times, and you usually do experience it before you wake up. Yeah, before
No,
you
like
wake
the
up
I
as
think
well.
the entire night you go through like these stages. You go from awake to deep to regular to REM.
I
and
feel
then
like
wake.
at this stage it's clear that none of us know what we're
Enough.
talking
Well,
about.
I'm just sharing the data that this thing gives me.
Yes.
So if this is correct or not is like a different question. I'll leave that to the people who claim to have the science
I
behind
feel
this
like
bit.
our area of expertise is more on the wet dream sector than it is
Yes,
like the
let's return to
science
that
of
one.
REM sleep.
Should we bring it back? All right, Liam,
Let's
do you
bring
want
it
to
back.
share more?
I can't. I shared with you my one and only. Manu never shared any
Yeah,
of his
Manu
wet
never
dreams,
shared his,
Yeah,
actually.
Manu did make a fool of himself on the internet.
My mom told me never to give in to peer pressure, and she's a very wise woman. So
I thought that sentence was about to start with, well, my mom was in the dream.
but it didn't. How disappointing.
Okay. Well, nope.
How underwhelming.
You don't have
I
to
don't
give
think-
in, but
I don't know.
you
I don't think I
should.
have anything interesting to share in that regard. Honestly, it's mostly like I said. Like sadly, I feel like I've missed out on the entire fictional character genre.
It doesn't have to be a fictional character.
No, it doesn't have to, but it seems very fun.
Yes.
So clearly, I did miss out on that. So it's more like, I don't know, either again acquaintances or sometimes just like straight out fake people. I don't
Would
know if
fake
that's-
What do you
people
mean by
not be
fake
fictional?
people?
But okay, I count fictional as in like kind of like connecting it to last week's fandom episode, like from a story or from a fandom.
So
enjoy.
you have OCs in your dreams,
yes, I
in
have
your wet
OCs.
dreams. You create your own
not
OC
only-
partners.
Not only
No, that's not possible.
that's not true. I definitely do. I have them in other dreams as well. I have a lot of them.
No, I've
Controversy.
heard that you've never. I've heard that you can't dream about someone that you haven't come across in your life before. Like you may not know them. You may not know them, but you have, maybe seen them whilst you
Why?
were walking around. Your brain registered it, and so it's been in your so it's in your head.
Why would you not be able to do that?
Damn. That was like a proper objection. I like it.
Well, I think that makes sense in terms of if
Sustained.
we were going back.
does
If
make
we were
sense.
going back to what you were saying, Manu, that your sleep time
it's
and
not
your dream
only-
time is a way
that's not the
for you
only thing it
to
does.
process your thing, like process the things that you've encountered. I think it makes sense that, your brain's just going through its archives and going, random person,
Manu,
that random person.
right now,
You get a face.
Think
you
of a
get face.
person you've never seen before.
Yes, can do that easily.
How? Do it.
I don't know. He's like a dude, pretty thick, like kind of like muscly fat kind of dude. Really hairy. He has pink hair. He has like a tattoo. Half his face is tattooed black. Half of his left butt cheek is tattooed, right?
You're saying words. I think what you're doing is you're taking
No, I'm
features
picturing
from
the character.
people that you've seen before, and you're combining those features.
Like
I don't
arms
think you're.
and legs.
I don't think you're capable of thinking of a completely new person.
I think that's bullshit.
I think you're bullshit.
Says the guy who tells me I'm just looking at this color that I've never seen before. You can imagine colors, but you can't imagine a person you've never seen before.
No, it would be the same concept, right?
That's-
If you can't imagine
exactly.
colors, you can't imagine a person you've never seen before. You could, it would be easier to make up a person.
Literally
which,
every
like,
time you
exactly
read a
what
book.
you said, Liam.
You can
by bringing
Frankenstein
things
the people together, yeah. But you can't
You could be
think
like,
of
okay,
just
brown
a completely
eyes
new
with
person.
blonde hair that I've seen before.
What do you mean
but-
Frankenstein?
Take components and put them together, fuse them into a Frankenstein's monster.
No, I don't think that's true.
Frankenstein? No, it's fiction.
Why? What? I don't. Why? What? I mean, if you mean by Frankenstein that the person needs arms and legs or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
those will be arms and legs based on arms and legs
No,
that
I
you've
don't think
seen
so.
before.
Why?
You are picking and choosing
Why? It
based
can
on
be a
your
very
experience.
Why? No, I don't think that's true. It can be super long arms that's like 4 meters long. I've never seen that before.
Where you're just taking arms that you've seen and you're going, what if they were longer?
I don't get your point. It still needs to be human, right? That's the
Okay,
idea
maybe
of person.
arms and legs. I feel like arms and legs, maybe there's a bit of leeway. But what about your face? Like, what about an entire face?
Maybe your guys' imagination
facial
just really
features.
sucks.
Maybe your denial is too strong.
Yes.
I feel where you were very confident in your ability to imagine colors that don't exist.
Okay,
I'm
to
very
be
confident.
fair, that is a complete joke. I don't believe that Super Blue can or does exist.
Yeah, he says that. He says that
Oh,
now.
thank goodness.
It is something.
Your
it's
reaction was definitely better. Thank
It's-
goodness he's sane.
It's something that I ask people because I like how people respond to impossibilities.
How funny.
And your response to this impossibility is like, oh yeah, I can imagine this new color. It's a human that I've never seen before.
Isn't that what creativity is? That you like your mind can imagine things? I think you can train.
Yes, but that imagination is based on experiences, your life experience that you're drawing from.
Not necessarily. I think your brain is definitely capable of creating things. That
How
it
can you
hasn't seen
imagine
before.
something that you don't even comprehend exists?
Well, that's the power of your brain.
Imagine something that doesn't exist right now, that no one has ever come up with.
Or I suppose the flip side is Manu, if you don't think it's possible to imagine a new color, how can you imagine a face that you've never seen before, even if it's a mashup? Like, I can understand that you can create a new face based on lots of different faces put together, but a completely original face, like, how can you imagine eyes that, like, it would have to be something so different from eyes?
I don't know. I don't know. You could just take, as you say, of course, you base it on some sort of realism, because, like, then the question would not be imagine something that doesn't exist.
So something real that you've seen before that you're adopting, would you say?
I don't know. I mean, obviously it's possible that you just see a face somewhere and then your brain remembers it and puts that on a person somewhere. Yeah. But I think isn't it just as possible if you ask me right now, come up with an original character, and I go like, well, people have faces stolen from previous experience. And then I'm like, well, take something completely unrelated. I'm looking at my pot plant right now. What if said face was made out of said pot plant? I haven't seen that before, but I can definitely imagine it.
What does it look like?
It's a face, but like instead of skin, it's made out of this plant here.
So it's a green face.
It's a face made out of this rice plant.
It's a face you've seen before, but it just has the texture of the plant.
Oh, but then I can say the face, for example, I want something very thick, so he has like these ridiculously puffy, like a frog, for example.
Which so you're imagining a frog now.
No, it's just a
And you've seen frogs before. You see, you're taking inspiration from what you know.
I'm not sure we're arguing about the same thing right now. Is your argument that I can't make up a face completely from scratch without any previous conception? Because that's obviously bullshit. Because
I don't think you can conceive of something you've never conceived. I think you can create from what you know. I can create a tower of things around me, bananas and stuff, but I can't like create a tower of what I don't know exists.
But then if you had never seen a banana tower in your life and you combined the ideas of banana and tower, well, you would base that on previous experience, but it's still something that doesn't exist.
So then when you apply that in your dream, if you see a face, it's still based on people that you have seen.
Okay, wait. But now we're having a very different conversation from what you originally asked me. You asked me if I have original characters in my dreams, which I answered with yes. But then like it's not like you say Harry Potter is an original character, thus his concept has never existed before in the world. It's like,
But then I believe Sophie confronted you with the idea that you can't dream about, at least physically, someone that you've never actually seen before.
I think so. I think your brain can just creatively put faces together in your dream.
Interesting.
Put faces like together, dream, yes.
Maybe.
Doesn't your dream, like for example, have places that are just mashups of things?
Yes, of course, but they're mashups.
Yeah, the mashups. Yeah. Especially when it comes to like people, there might be people that I never imagined that I've ever seen them before, but I've been told that it's because you have seen them, you've just never consciously registered them, whereas your brain has.
That's not what I mean, that's a possibility.
How can your brain conjure something that it doesn't have source material for?
But for example, wouldn't you say it's an original character if I subconsciously saw a Liam walking down the road, and then like 5 years ago I subconsciously saw Sophie walking down the road, and I really love my dog. And so suddenly, in my dream, there's a person that's kind of like this furry creature that has like Liam's statue, but like Sophie's nose, but I don't know, like another person's mouth. Wouldn't that be an original character, even if it's based on like previous people?
Can we have someone?
Okay, I agree this? Then. Yeah.
Please. I agree that it's your original character. You know, it's the same way that Chris Chan took Sonic and Pikachu and made Sonichu. Yes, but they both came from things that you've seen before, things that you know exist.
Yeah, no shit.
Good one, Sherlock.
That's what this entire discussion has been about.
Was that what you guys were arguing about?
It sounded like you were claiming, no, my imagination is so powerful, it can just conjure things that I've never seen.
I'm pretty...
I didn't realize you literally meant characters. I was talking about faces and features.
Yeah. But like Okay, but Sophie, if I told you right now, come up with a face you have never seen before, then you can just like think about random things and mash those together into a face you've never seen before.
Things that you've seen.
Of things that I've seen.
Yeah. But
Into
the
creating
end result,
something that I've never seen.
Yeah.
Yes. So I understand that maybe your brain does do that in dreams, but I didn't realize that you were talking about
Why would I be
that
talking about coming
ability.
up with?
Well, when you said original characters.
You said
I thought
original
you just
characters.
meant-
I didn't say
I don't think
that.
I didn't say original
I
characters.
said original characters.
I didn't say
I'm
that.
the one who said that.
All I said was there's people in my dreams that don't exist that I don't have never met. That's all I said. And you're like, there's original characters in your dreams, and Sophie was like, wait,
but also
your brain can't possibly come up with
Also-
faces that don't exist in real life.
But then Sophie proposed the theory that they do exist. You just don't remember them, but you have registered them. How do you know that that's not true?
I mean, if I can come up and mash up together like a cartoony character or like
Is
any
everyone
random
in
person.
your dream world like half dog with Sophie's nose, or like are they?
No, I'm like over painting it. Like, why would my brain in my dream state not be capable of doing the same thing I can do right now?
I suppose so, but I feel like your brain must be working in overdrive, having to now also mash up features
It's a
that's-
lot
in
of
your
rendering.
brain. To,
Your
in
brain
yeah.
is literally working on overdrive in REM sleep. That's literally what's happening.
I feel like that's quite a lot. Do you actually even see people's faces in dreams? I don't even really register people's faces unless they are people that I know.
It's a good.
Unless there's been a really sort of big experience, say that they were very close to me, or say that there's some sort of horrific experience within my dream. I don't tend to register people's faces. They usually tend to be like Slender Man.
chasing you.
Yeah.
No, I definitely see people's faces in dreams.
If I do register them, I definitely don't remember them.
I feel like I want to be.
I'm so happy we had
But
we figured
there's
this
like
conversation
the
out.
character
That was-
creation screen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what artists do.
Artists, yeah, they take inspiration from what they know,
Of course,
and they
I
create
never
something.
said anything else.
That is absolutely not what it sounded like.
That's why I kept saying, like, of course it's gonna be a person based on like features you've seen before.
That's all we were saying.
No, it's not what you were saying. Sophie was saying
We're gonna
something.
leave this. We are going to leave this for the comments and see what they thought.
Literally, Sophie was saying it's probably just people you've seen somewhere before and forgotten. And Liam, you were saying, so you're saying you can come up with concepts you don't know about out of
Because that's what it
description.
sounded like. You were like, no, my imagination, it can just do it. It doesn't need source material. I can just think a human, arms, legs, fat, Sophie's nose.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
Mashing things
all
together.
stuff that you've seen before. It's mashing things together.
But again, I never claimed.
Why are we going back? I thought we.
You make
I
it
thought
sound.
we resolved this. Did we not resolve this?
You made it sound like. You made it sound like I claimed to have like the godly power to come up with things. Because suddenly we went from.
You did.
I.
You absolutely
certainly
did.
not, good sir.
You were like,
I was talking
you
about-
people just lack the imagination. I, God Manu, can create life from nothing.
We'll let the comments decide how this conversation went.
Poorly for all of us.
Yes,
God.
I think so. That was a riveting discussion. Very riveting discussion.
Not as riveting as the daydreams.
Oh, nothing is.
Yes, just pure bliss in those sessions.
Sessions.
Do you guys have other weird things that you do in your sleep?
Like poop.
I mean, I've exposed
in your
mine.
sleep.
I sleep talk. I sleep talk actually quite frequently as well.
I do
Have
that
you ever
sometimes as well.
recorded yourself?
No, I've never recorded myself.
I think you should do that. You obviously don't have to tell us what you
Yeah.
say, although it would be fascinating.
it's
But
kinda
just for
spooky.
like,
Most of
your
it
own.
is usually incomprehensible. They don't make a lot of sense. I've woken myself up while sleep talking.
okay.
I used to freak out the hell out of my sister because sometimes I would sleep in her room and she would be like, what the hell is this demon child doing? Because I would sleep talk and she'd get really scared. One time I was having a dream that someone was going to give me money. So I remember sleeping and I woke up going, 감사합니다, which is thank you. And I sat up, put my hand out
that
to
is
get money.
creepy as shit.
That is
Sophie.
creepy as fuck.
Oh, we are never sleeping in the same room ever.
Again.
Well, maybe that was by choice.
That
is
sounds.
spooky.
If you did that, I would leave the room and lock the door behind me because fuck dealing with that. And you know what? Let's go to a hotel somewhere. Let's just get as far away from whatever that is as possible.
Sleep town. To be fair, I know I've had conversations with people while I was sleeping.
Conversations,
Yeah.
full conversations.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, like, not full conversations, because clearly I would say something or demand something or ask something, which they would... For example, I've asked someone to give me a cup of water, and when they asked me if I was thirsty, I just like switched the topic completely, not react to what they actually say. So I'd have
wow.
I'd have multiple conversations while they just get annoyed
Very confused. Did they realize you were sleep talking, or
at some point.
did
yeah.
they? Okay. It'd be very impressive if you could have a full conversation. I've heard from people that they actually did have like mini conversations where they could even follow the conversation a slight bit.
I actually had a really interesting friend during high school who did something I always thought was not real when people claimed they could do it, which is sleeping with open eyes, but he actually did.
Gandalf style.
Yeah, again, it was really spooky. They weren't like completely closed. It was kind of like this, and then rolled up.
Oof.
Yeah.
I've got a very close friend of mine who can do that as well. That creeps the frick out of me as well.
That looks really creepy.
Usually like mouth open as well, so it's like
I feel like it's an ability you need to learn, Sophie, and then like your demon child starter pack will be complete.
and then yeah.
What is thank you?
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
감.
Come.
사.
So.
Yep.
감사.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. The hub,
감사합니다.
I was just exaggerating. It's usually a little softer. Yep.
감사합니다.
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 That's when you're speaking to someone like older or in a more respectable position than you are. If we're just doing it between friends like us, we'd just say 고마워.
So you were being very respectful to your sister, then, at the very least.
Well, yes, I had both hands up as well. It was like a full Oliver Twist situation. Please, sir, can I have some more? It wasn't
That
even
would
just
freak me the fuck
demanding.
Yeah.
Speaking like 18th century Korean. Could I use that phrase, for example, if I go to a Korean restaurant, or which thank you would I use?
Oh, you would definitely use the first one, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Why does it have to be that long?
What, arigato gozaimasu is...
You can just say sumimasen.
Really? That feels very casual.
Sumimasen, no, it means I'm
Sumimasen's
sorry.
only one syllable shorter than 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Sumimasen. Yeah, you're right.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Well,
We're gonna
actually, you would
choose
go.
which hill we're gonna die on today.
Arigato.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
don't forget the extra ooh.
Well, I'm gonna work on my Korean from now on. Makes me want to go to Korean barbecue now.
Me too.
Oh, quick
Yeah.
story before we finish this up. I went to a Korean restaurant / karaoke bar the other day, and they served what is it,
막걸리?
makgeolli in like these,
Yeah.
which is like rice, sake wine thing.
Yeah, rice wine. Yeah.
In like these huge containers, and you just like get a cup out of it. So I got wasted really fast with that one. It was good though.
Yeah, did you like it? Was it the plain or was it flavored?
How do I
They
tell the
flavor it
difference?
now as well.
With
Oh,
like,
actually, if it came in like a proper urn, it was probably just the standard one. They sell it in like soju, like flavored.
yeah. The
makgeolli
soju
now
was
as well.
flavored. Yeah, it's like, what's the common one?
Green apple,
Yeah, for soju. Yeah,
grape.
grape.
But anyways, then I suppose we should go off and go to Korean barbecue or go off to do whatever you guys gonna do at night
Nice.
because
Daydream.
we're gonna
Good
close off.
old-fashioned daydream. Yeah.
I'm gonna go have a good old daydream. Dream.
All right,
Just dream.
knock yourselves out.
Literally.